Alright everybody, so if you hear any noise in the background, that is because there's rain outside. But anyway, welcome back to my gradient mesh tutorial, and in this episode, it is episode 33, but in this episode, I just may finish the lips, I don't know, but we're going to go back to working on the lips. Now, I was talking about in the last episode how I think the top needs to be a little sharper. And I don't disagree. There's too much going on at the top right now. There's not enough uniformity. The bottom, however, looks very nice, but everything in the lips still needs some blending. And by blending, I mean we're gonna go back, and if this is your first time tuning in, I'm gonna teach it again. But I've already said this like 300 times in every other episode. But we're gonna do like a little left, right, up, down technique. And what that basically consists of is we are going to smoothen out and give a more uniform and universal blend of color across the entire lips. Everything's going to be more smooth. There's going to be less harsher change, and it's just going to be one more uniform shape. Like all the colors are going to kind of fit together. You can kind of see where like color divides pretty harshly. Like we see these spots right here, and then it kind of just has. It's just kind of harsh, you know. It just doesn't really kind of blend uniformly. And what we're going to do is change all that. We have all these little oval splotches here and like this little staircase here, and all that's going to go away. It's going to become more smooth. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to identify some problem areas. So the first problem area I think I see is this kind of section right here. You see this kind of all of this in here is not really what I want it to look like. And we have to identify the problem is running from left to right. You know, the problem is not running up and down. The grain is kind of going left and right horizontally. So in order to get rid of that with our blending technique, we need to go up and down with our eyedropper tool. So I'm going to start, I would say, about right here, and this is going to be very time consuming, especially because the amount of points we have on the lips. So be prepared for a lot of clicking, and we've been doing a lot of clicking on the lips, so kudos to anyone who has made it this far and who hasn't rage quit. But anyway, what we're going to do is select the first point we think we need to start on, right? And we're going to select, and we're going to be running against the grain. We're going to be going up and down. So we're going to select the color to the right of this point. So you see what would happen? We went from this color, select this tone, and it darkened it in relation to this tone right here. So we're basically pulling tone from this point, and we're mixing it with this color in this point. And we're going to go across the entire line and do that. So we did this point, right? Our next point, we're going to go to the right of that point. This point to the right of that point. And we're going to go all the way down until we can't go anymore. And we're going to keep going, and we're going to see these colors start to change. See that? See what's happening? And now that I hit the end, right, I just got to the end, what we're going to do now is go back the other way, but we're going to select to the left of the point. So now we're resampling the same way in the opposite form, and we're just kind of giving a nice blanket smooth to this entire line. We're going over, and we're giving a nice blanket smoothing to this entire line from on the vertical axis. And we're giving a nice blanket smooth to the vertical axis on this line here. And we're going to make a difference very slowly, but it's going to be very impactful when we're done. So now that we just went to the left on the entire line, we're back to where we started, and what we're going to do is go to the right up of that point again. We're going to do it again. And we're going to need to do this a bunch of times, especially because the amount of detail that we have here. And so we have a more uniform blend, and we can't really see the geometry of the mesh, and all we really see is a nice, clean, smooth blend of every color that's in this mesh together. It wants to be one happy family. I don't want too many problems with the points. So I'm just identifying where points are a little harsh, and I'm just smoothing out all the areas that I'm working with here. So I always like to double check my work to make sure I'm not doing things the wrong way here. So I just want to make sure I'm capturing the right tones in the right areas, and right here I think I have too much of this tan. So I'm going to just blend upward on here like that, and I'm going to get rid of a lot of that color in the when it comes to going up. And that's looking a little more accurate right there. So we're going to go to the next point, and we're just going to keep moving along. So I'm going to go to this point and do the same thing I just did. I'm going to select every point, and we're just going to go all the way down and select to the right of each point. And now we're going to go to the left of each point. Okay, to the right. All right, to the left. And we're going to do this for a while. We're going to go all the way down this entire section, and we're going to go, and after we finish that, we're going to identify if we need to do any more correcting, whether it be left and right correcting from that section, right? We're doing a lot of up and down correction, and we're going to be doing a lot of that, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have to do any left and right blending to these same exact points to get them to look right. And some of these points might need to be group colored, you know, not every point needs to be a separate color. Like sometimes I can select 2 points at once, make them the same tone, and that's going to give a smoother blend to that section. But I don't want to do that everywhere on the lips because we do have texture that we do not want to eliminate. You know, we worked hard to get a texture. We want to keep a certain type of texture without really looking too gritty or digitized. You know, we want to still have it look real. And by doing that, I need to have a more uniform blend of color. Alright, so notice how we're only blending up and down, and we're starting to get a nicer look in here, you know, just in general. Eventually we're going to go left and right as well, like I said, but let's just keep going up and down. Just find areas where you think it could be improved, where you think the color might be a little splotchy or streaky, and we're going to start doing this technique against the grain. So you can see how we really cut away at that left and right, like weird tonality over there. And now we're getting a more general blend on the lips. And that's exactly what we want. It really is starting to come alive now. But we can't stop there. We have a long way to go. Alright, so I did a lot of vertical blending over here. I'm actually going to do a few runs left and right. I do have some problems I want to change running along vertical axes, like this color right here and this stuff over here, as well as a little bit over here could be updated. And maybe some, there's just a lot of areas on these lips where it would benefit from some left and right blending. So let me just start doing that, and hopefully we can get some nice area finished in the bottom left corner of these lips. Alright, so quickly, let's just compare this whole section that we just worked on blending versus, let's say this is a dividing line, versus the right side here, left versus right. You can almost see where the blending kind of stopped. And it looks a lot better with the blending, like it looks a little bit more solidified. It's more of a complete idea, and I just can't wait till it covers the entire spread of the lips in its entirety, so we can really see these lips come together, because this is a serious project. These lips, it's taking a very long time, and I just very excited to get them done, but we still have a lot of work ahead of us to fix these. Alright, so you can see a major difference in this area now versus, like, let's say over here and over here. Much more general, smoother blend. And now that I was looking at this drawing, actually, I decided later when I'm done blending, I'm gonna go with my pencil tool and just see any of these like little bubble highlights, any of these little highlights that I think are gonna help me define the shape of the lips. I think I'm actually gonna go back and add more of those, you know, like my vector overlays. I just feel like I'm not gonna get the detail exactly how I want with the mesh, and based on the look I'm getting from these vector overlay shapes, I think I'm gonna add a lot more of them, at least on the highlight side. And I feel like that's gonna really add some depth and dimension to already an area that can seem like it has really nice shadows and midtones, but is lacking a little bit of highlight and specular highlights. So I think once I add those vector overlay shapes when I'm done with the blending, that it will add that much more of a pop to the lips. And the lips are really just working, and the lips are really just becoming a major project at this point. And we're so close to the end where I just don't even want to cut any corners. I don't want to forget about any type of blending or cleanliness in my last few shapes. I really want to close out strong. So my lips are starting to look much better, and I'm really excited to see how they're actually going to play out when I finish blending and I finish adding those little touch-up highlights. I think it's just looking really awesome right now, and I'm just super excited to finish because I'm really getting impatient now. Like I'm like twitching. I've just been doing this for so many hours, like over 25, 30 hours now, and let alone the amount of editing time that I put into it in Premiere Pro. But just in Illustrator, it's just been a ride, and I think this is the best drawing I've ever made when it comes to mesh, because I'm really trying to be as accurate as possible so I can have the ultimate tutorial here and ultimate walkthrough. There are a lot of tutorials online, and there are a lot of walkthroughs, kinda, but there's really nothing that shows you point A from point B, from the beginning of the face from scratch, all the way to completing it, an entire project. You know, there's nothing that shows the entire process. There's videos that teach you how, you know, maybe how to draw, a certain part of the face, and they teach you how to draw this or that, but there's such a mentality and a process and troubleshooting and making fixes to your errors, and there's just so much more that is into mesh and the gradient mesh tool itself, that I don't want to hide that from anybody. I want to just show you raw what it takes and what it's like to actually sit down and try and draw a perfect realistic drawing based on a picture. And this is the reality right here, and you can see when you put in the work, you really do get amazing results. And I want to thank anyone who's watching all of this. We do have a few more episodes, I think, on the lips. We're going to do a lot of fast forwarding and a lot of blending. It's just a lot of work, so be prepared to click for hours on the lips. But anyway, thanks guys again. My name is Mark DiMattei. You can find me on Instagram at markdarts. That's MARKD_ARTS. And please like, comment, and subscribe. I cannot stress that enough. I would love to hear back what you people are saying. If you're having trouble, if you're not, if you're enjoying it, if you're not, really any feedback helps. So I'll see you on the next one, people. Episode 34 coming for you.